That made me proud.
This is Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 6th. Former CBS News correspondent Cheryl Atkinson is suing the Department of Justice for allegedly hacking her personal computer and surveying her work while she was investigating the Obama administration. In filings seeking $35 million in damages, Atkinson alleges 3 forensics exams showed hackers infiltrated her computers to monitor her work between 2011 and 2013. Atkinson left CBS News in March of 2013, claiming she was unable to get investigative stories on the air. Harvard professors on the arts and sciences faculty overwhelmingly voted to oppose expensive changes to the university employees' health insurance as a result of the Affordable Care Act. President Obama's signature legislation was backed by several Harvard health economic experts. The vote was taken by faculty, but it was too late to stop the changes from taking place this month. The changes are described as, quote, standard features of most employer-sponsored health plans, but faculty members such as Richard F. Thomas call the changes, quote, deplorable, deeply regressive, and a sign of the corporatization of the university, while Professor Mary Lewis believes the changes are tantamount to a pay cut. Miami-Dade County will be the first Florida region to allow gay marriage after a ruling Monday morning by Judge Sarah Zabel. The ruling lifted a legal stay she had placed on a ruling from July. The earlier ruling declared Florida's ban on same-sex marriage unconstitutional. Floridians voted in 2008 to constitutionally define marriage as between a man and a woman. In Miami-Dade County, out-of-state marriages will be recognized immediately, and some counties across the state will allow same-sex marriages to take place as early as 12:01 a.m. Tuesday. Monday's ruling brings the total of states where same-sex marriage is legal to 36, plus the District of Columbia. The trial of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev began today with the jury selection process. Tsarnaev faces 30 federal charges, including conspiracy and use of a weapon of mass destruction that would result in death, possession and use of a firearm in relation to a violent crime, and carjacking in relation to his role in the bombing of the Boston Marathon in April of 2013. Due to the serious nature of the charges, federal prosecutors can still seek the death penalty, even though Massachusetts abolished it several years ago. The trial will happen in Boston, despite efforts by the defense to get a change of venue, and it is likely the trial will take several months. April 15th will mark the second anniversary of the bombing, when Tsarnaev and his brother Tamerlan detonated a pressure cooker bomb at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. The bombing killed 3 people and wounded hundreds of others. This has been Amy Curtis with your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 6th.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunier here with you on Battle for Freedom on Vigilant Liberty Radio. Again, I am joined with a great friend, Jeannie DeAngelis. And if you want to call the show, you can call at 412-567-6879. And I tell you, if you haven't listened to the first half of the show, you need to go immediately to the link that I'll provide so that you can actually listen to this show, because it is great to hear what Jeannie has provided. And she was just really even dumping more knowledge in the background as we were on the break. So what I want to do is Jeannie, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not
Awesome.
going anywhere.
Okay, good,
I'm
great.
stay
I don't
here
want
to
you
the
to go
bitter
anywhere.
end.
I wish that we could turn this into a 12-hour show.
I'm here to the bitter end, brother.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because it just in the background, we were just talking about the whole idea of, and I really appreciate what Jeannie was saying earlier about we need to be consistent on getting out there and getting the truth. I talked to Jason about this earlier and I may have talked about it last night on the show, of that we need now with the Republicans in control of Congress. Yes, Jason asked me yesterday, well, what can the Congress do against the president and his pen? Yeah, there's the impeachment concept that's out there, but I know there has to be some other kind of rule of law that will allow Congress to basically, in some way, hinder the continual destruction that this president's committing. But if that power was not available, there's still another power that's available to Congress that, and I was even talking to Jason about this, and I love how he brought this out, is, I was saying to him that the Republicans don't even know how to fully use all the tools that are available to them. They have the bloggers, they have talk radio. They don't want to get the
Yeah, but you're
information out
being
there. And
nice.
I,
You're so nice. They don't want to do what they need to do. I'm sorry
mm,
that sounds so cynical. You're saying, you're talking from a place where you're saying, well, they're not doing what they could do. I don't think they want to do what they should do.
mm,
Is more the way to put it for me. It's like because if they wanted to, they would have done it already, and they haven't.
yeah,
They need to open their mouth. Like I was just telling you in the break that what am I? I'm a grandmother from Long Island. You can't. The Congress can't. The Republicans in the Congress can't find out when 12 of our children die of an obscure virus after Obama brings how many thousands of kids from Latin America into America. Nobody from Congress can figure out that could possibly be he could possibly be responsible for that. So what do? Grandma from Long Island has got supposed in between making meatballs and vacuuming. I have to go and I have to like find this obscure article from a virology journal that says that in 2010 the United States sends a medical team to Latin America to find out when children in Latin America have colds or sniffles, which virus is it coming from? Well, lo and behold, it has two viruses, the rhinovirus, and guess which is the other one is? Enterovirus D68, which is responsible for the paralyzation and death of American children. Okay? So I find this out, and I write an article, and what's the immediate response to it? Oh, you can't say that the children are responsible. Well, use the brain that God gave you. Okay?
thank you.
50 years, this virus is not in the country, and all of a sudden our kids start dropping like flies, and they can't walk. You see this article that came out of Latin America. That's when Congress should stand up and say, listen, our children, we are not going to, as a governing body, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican, going to stand by and allow our children to die because of some sort of a political policy that this president is trying to push in order to further for political expediency for his own party.
Yeah. And it's really sad because of the fact that we need the people who are going to get out there and going to have the cojones. Because this is the thing, the way that the Republicans, and here's the concern that I have more than anything else, Jeannie, is that the Republicans right now are overconfident, believing that they're the ones that won the election, not realizing what many of people have said in the past. And I've heard it from Miller and Jason and so many other people that the Democrats lost. The Republicans didn't win. The Democrats lost. And the message that was there was that you actually finally had a lot of Americans who were basically saying, you know what? You said that this is what you were going to do. You had 6 years of the Democratic control of the Senate, a president in the White House. And what do we have right now? Nothing. You can't sit here and basically continue to say, you know what, you hear the president say, Republicans in Congress, Republicans in Congress, Republicans in Congress. No, it isn't because of the fact that your pen has been going wild since 2009. And you can't blame everything on the Republicans in Congress that hasn't come to pass. Because guess what? If there was an ability for things to be accomplished by this president, like ending the war, shutting down Gitmo, and providing all these other different things, why did it not happen in the first 2 years of his reign? When he had the Democratic control in so many other different ways, and there was no obstruction possible. There was no way that the Republicans could stop anything. For crying out loud, Obamacare was brought in with total Democratic support. So if that's the case, that Republicans in Congress were shutting everything down, why was there no greater success in the first 2 years of your administration? But the thing
Well,
about it is
I
that,
guess
go ahead.
I guess I'm like I guess I'm like really I'm not all that really nice of a person because I see it as because the Republicans didn't do enough to stop it.
Yeah.
In my book. They're more. Listen, you know me and Obama. I mean, I pray to God that the Lord has mercy on this nation and the Lord have mercy on his soul or whatever. But you know what? Don't don't um, squander the trust of the American people. Okay,
Yes.
these people, the American voter trusted the Republicans to undo what they have disagreed with for the last 6 years. Doesn't even matter.
Hmm.
Getting things done, who cares? Everything he got done, nobody wanted anyway. So the American voters
Exactly.
said in 2014, listen, guys, we hate this, and we want you to save us from this. And
Yeah.
what are they doing? Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely, they are going to do nothing. We are victims of a political system, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, I don't care. They're a bunch of power hungry people that do not care about what the American people want. We are there for one reason, to keep them in power and to pay their bills. That's it.
Yeah.
And until somebody somewhere out of the, like I said, out of the ash heap of dysfunction rises up and has the cojones, as we say in Brooklyn, to speak up and say, listen, we're not going to put up with this another minute. The people of this country will not stand for this, and we don't care if people don't like it. We're not going to care about our careers. We're not going to care about anything. We're going to speak out. Until that happens, we have no hope.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And I agree because the two-party system is killing us right now. It's really killing us. And there's always this hope of bringing up a third party, and everybody keeps saying that there's no hope of a third party. And one of the things that I suggested, let's say I was the president, and I ran under a Republican ticket. I think what I would want to do is before the midterms, I would turn around and basically say, I'm changing my party affiliation, and I'm no longer a D, I'm no longer an R, I'm a P. I'm representing the people. I'm the people's party, not a party that's basically sold out to just maintaining my job for as long as I possibly
You know
can.
who we need
And
to emulate? You know who we need to emulate? We need to emulate the New York City Police Department. The people in this country need to turn their back on all of this junk. We need to say, when they open their mouths, we need to turn our backs. Do you know that a cop that was shot, de Blasio, showed up at the hospital? He told him, get lost. Now that's somebody that's the attitude that the rest of this country needs to have. That's what Congress, the people that we sent there, that's the attitude they should have towards Obama. When he opens his mouth, you stand up and you turn your back to him and say, I'm not listening to this junk anymore. That's they're the ones we should look at and say, look at what they don't care if Bratton tells them not to do it. They're going to be true to what they believe in, and they're going to stay true to their convictions. And if it means turning their back on the mayor of New York City, they do it in
yeah,
unity, like in one spirit. Can you imagine how wonderful that would be if in Congress, I'm not saying literally turn their back on, but really
I mean, why
symbolically
not
turn their
though?
back on.
Why not though,
Exactly.
Jeannie?
I
I mean,
mean,
you've got
I
congressmen putting their hands up saying hands up, don't shoot. So if we can have
right,
congressmen
right.
doing that, if they don't even have, if you have congressmen on the other side who don't even respect the office of what they hold, why should they expect the rest of us to do the same thing?
Right, and De Blasio is like Obama in the sense that he just keeps coming around because he has this entitlement mentality that because of his office, he can insult, he can put down, he can endanger, he can do anything he pleases, and that just because of the nature of his office, the police department, even though he's put their lives in danger and probably been partially responsible for the assassination of two innocent men, that they're supposed to just submit to whatever it is that he says. And you know what they said? No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to submit to this. We are going to turn our backs on you and send you a message that we don't care who you are or what you think. We're done.
Yeah,
And until we get that kind of an attitude, it sounds so radical, and I'm not radical. It's just that I'm disgusted. I'm
yeah,
disgusted and I'm tired, and I just I'm just looking for one break. We need somebody to paint their face with blue paint and act like Mel Gibson in Braveheart, and just
yeah,
fire up to everybody and say, listen, this is What are you going to do without your freedom? Where are you going to go?
Okay,
Where is there to
so
run?
excuse